Royal celebrations. Truly, who has been axed? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. Yes, behind me, another iconic red phone box. Sadly, they're not in use most of the time. I don't know about you though, but who does now make phone calls from landlines? I used to love doing that, didn't you? And wasn't it fabulous when you think about it, that people could only get you when you told them you were going to be in? Or of course the advent of that messaging service where, you know, you could leave a recorded message for you. Oh, I miss those days where people couldn't get hold of you. But as ever, we have to get back to your story, because guess what? The phone's going. Now, there's been a lot of, well, shall we say, problems regarding next year's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. As we know, we're all looking very forward to them worldwide. Big events taking over the weekend in June 2022, and you know, lots and lots of opportunities to see our gracious Majesty the Queen. Floats, she's going to be meeting people face to face. I think it's going to be one of those spectacular historical moments, because when you look back, and for those of us just young enough to remember the Silver Jubilee of 1977, have to tell you, I went to my school dressed as a Victorian schoolmaster. We all had to come in a theme. Wouldn't get that nowadays, would you? Oh no. The problem is, on a serious note, is this. Apparently, according to recent press reports, there are going to be certain people that will be unavailable to attend, and by that they mean attend and appear on the royal balcony, the famous balcony at, of course, Buckingham Palace. Now, let me explain the background to this story. They're all alluding that His Royal Highness the Duke of York has already been written off for these celebrations for next year. Now, as we know, the Duke of York is battling, some might say, an ongoing legal case, which we don't need to go into detail about because it's everywhere. Say the Duke of York is battling a legal case. Nothing is concluded. Everything could change overnight. You know what it's like in the courts of law. So for these press reports and TV people to report that he's being dumped from these celebrations are far wide of the mark, let me tell you. He is involved at some point. Not quite sure how much he's going to be involved. And of course it would be a tragedy for Her Majesty the Queen if she was asked to leave out one of her sons. I mean, let's think about that in a, you know, more sort of caring, sharing way, shall we? This will be an historical event. Now, back to the other two, Harry and Meghan, will they be invited? Well, again, Her Gracious Majesty the Queen has yet to sign up the final lineup, shall we say. And I do think this will be strange if Harry and Meghan are not invited in some form. But given that they continue to disrespect Our Gracious Majesty the Queen by what they're doing, it would take, well, a huge push from the people around Her Majesty to change her mind. You know, she's a very caring lady, wants to see the good in people, and would want those that she cares about around her, namely Prince Harry. Perhaps if he came alone, that might be okay. I'll just leave it there. But moving forward with this story, if you do read continual stories about Prince Andrew, check back in here. We check with the palace directly, and that's what they tell us. Nothing is fully decided yet. All that sort of thing won't be signed off, really, let me tell you, till around March next year. That's when they look at the security aspects, and that's when they start doing those rehearsals throughout London in the early morning hours to make sure everything runs perfectly over that Platinum Jubilee weekend. Neil Sean in the heart of London.